We'll now sort of move on to some general questions we've had from the audience. And the first one, I think, is probably for you, Alex. Let me just make sure that everybody we can hear. The question really is, they're in the UK, have a property and they have their NIE numbers. The question is, can the Spanish solicitor, who has a power of attorney, process the majority of their residency application, leaving them just to attend the local police station at some point near at the end of the year when they're out? So the
answer to that is, so I understand the question being, can a lawyer in Spain progress the residency with the power of attorney? And the answer to that is yes. However, the applications now can be submitted online, but the applicants have to be in Spain at the time. So we're undertaking that work for clients, and they may have to come. They will definitely have to come back to Spain to pick up their card. We'll receive an appointment for that once the residency application has been successful. And if they're not registered on the Padron, which is the local census, that's something they would have to do beforehand. But yes, most of the documentation can be managed by the lawyer in Spain.
Right. Okay. Thank you. The question here, which I think is probably related to the property people, which is people ask. This was specifically about the Javier region, but I think that this may well apply generally. And that is, what is it like out of the season? Is it good living here outside the season because people have a holiday over here, but does it all close down out of season? So perhaps, Nigel, you could cover that in your area.
Yeah, Javier it's basically an all year round place to live. It's stunning. Everything stays open. It obviously anywhere along the coast goes slightly quieter through the winter period when you're outside of the main sort of 10 to 12 weeks of the summer season. But as a place to live and base yourselves for your retirement or for your overseas expat life, you can't really go wrong with a place like Javier. It literally has everything that you need. Same along most of the major towns down the coast.
Okay. So, Nigel, would that be true of the areas that you're in?
Yeah, it is. The closest to the coast you are, and the more established the area, obviously, there's a lot of residential people living there. I guess if you lived in a golf resort, 25 minutes inland, it's going to be quieter, probably out of season. However, a lot of people are renting on those resorts to include local Spanish too. So basically, there are certain areas, and again, people are worried about that. We can show them where that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in that instance, the towns are always more vibrant. They're obviously more populated year round with local residents, so they're not reliant on the tourists to remain lively and justify having commercial units open all year round. So any areas near to town, proximity to villages are normally equally as busy. So those that aren't so reliant on holidaymakers. So from my perspective, Benalmádena, Arroyo de la Miel, the Cala de Mijas, Marbella, Benavis, Estepona, they're all pretty much the hotspots as far as thriving activity all year round. The beaches are the place to be in the summer, and the old town, central town, obviously more so in the winter time.
Right. Question here about mortgages. Are buy-to-let mortgages the same if you're to buy a property to let out rather than live it? Alex, you got something?
Yeah, we don't tend to have a specific buy-to-let mortgage here in Spain. It would be more of someone would have to prove that they've got the income to pay the mortgage, and then it'd be up to them to rent it out. That we don't have, as I said, a specifically designed buy-to-let mortgage like you do have in the UK. So it would mainly be purely residential, and typically you can borrow up to 65 or 70% of the loan to value.
Right. But so would the rental income from that property be taken account of in terms of when assessing their ability to pay that?
Well, I think what the applicant would have to prove to the bank is that, first of all, they've got sufficient income to pay the mortgage in their own right without having to rent it out. And then if they rented it out, then obviously that's a bonus. Because of COVID, we've had a lot of people who rented their property out have had holidays cancelled, and they haven't been able to take advantage of the monies that they're expecting. So I think banks will be even more cautious moving forward, Nigel, and they'll want to see that the applicants can pay the mortgage on their own 2 feet without relying on that rental money.
What is the latest date you can arrive in Spain to establish your residence? So the person says, could we literally arrive on the 31st of December? And with the intention then of staying here after that, or do you have to have established your residence a period before the end?
Yeah, so basically the procedure in place at the moment is that if you want to become a resident, you've got to prove that you've arrived in Spain before the 31st of December. I think if you arrive on the 31st of December and you haven't thought about residency before, then your whether or not you get residency will be a bit risky. So I would suggest that people, if they're thinking about moving to Spain now and applying for residency, they open a bank account, they apply for their NIEs, they buy a property or they rent a property, and they prepare all their paperwork so that can be submitted by the 31st of December. But I wouldn't start the process on the 31st of December.
Do you think the current exchange rate between the euro and the pound is likely to be around for a while?
I think these kind of levels, if you actually look back at the last few months, these kind of levels have been fairly static while we move through this pandemic period. There's not any clear direction on exactly what's happening with the Brexit talks. It's the usual to and fro. We've been past a couple of supposed deadlines of, we have to have a deal agreed by here without anything happening. So I think that's just going to be ongoing and rumbling for the rest of the year. And the pandemic seems to be simply a case of whichever zone wins the race to come out of lockdown more fully so their economy can get going better. So the problem that we've got everywhere now is that we're seeing more lockdowns coming, and obviously the quarantine issue with the UK and Spain is not helping anyone at the moment. But I think it'll rumble on probably for some time to come, these kind of levels. Although having said that, obviously these kind of levels is kind of anything from 109 to 112 probably, and within that there's obviously better days and worse days. So but yes, I don't think you're about to suddenly see a jump to 120 or anything like that. And the only thing that will cause a really big move is going to be something decisive on Brexit.
So those are all the questions I had. We'll draw that to a close. Thank you everybody for participating, and hopefully the audience have found that useful. I would say before we leave that it is, if you have any questions, feel free to send them through and we can pass them on to any of these speakers. If you want to contact any of them, please let me know. I'll be in touch over the next few days and weeks with you to sort of follow up and check whether you have any additional questions, whether you want to contact people, and also there will be a recording of this available if you want to sort of look back at one particular part of the webinar or indeed watch the whole thing again. But many thanks for everybody's attention and all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Nigel.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks.